Hello,
Hello.
everyone. Hello, I'm Darnell,
And I'm Angela.
and welcome to
Garrison
Garrison
House.
House, the house with everything. I
The
was,
house that Asbury built.
yeah, and Addie.
And Addie. We're glad to see you guys here this evening. Thank you for joining us. Go to garrisonhousepodcast.com and you'll see all our platforms, and you can just take a look and see what we do
leave
here.
A tip. We do leave tips.
Yes, we got a tip jar.
Yep, go into that tip jar, drop a tip in there.
Yep.
And because
Support the work.
Support it. Because speaking of support, I mean, I'm losing some weight.
Yes.
Down 35 pounds. And
the confetti to throw it up in the air.
And so, we're going to have a little link coming soon where you can support us by going to visiting where I go and get yourself trained. And so that's coming soon. So you'll be able to support our podcast just by getting an assessment. Go in there and get yourself assessed and get yourself worked out. I'm like sort of the talking testimony of the place, because when I started there, I was going in there with the cane.
And he was right. He's stumbling and everything. Barely can, he was leaning over a little bit. But thank God, and to God be the glory. And you know what? Sometimes just enough, like just 20 pounds, will make you feel even better.
I feel so much better.
I mean, right.
I've been committed to weekly salads, and so I get a salad once a week, and it's greens, not iceberg. I know some people say, "Oh, the salad ain't doing that." I don't do iceberg lettuce when I go and get my salad. I may put a little bit on there just to tease myself, but my salads are the dark green. It has spinach. It has everything in it. It's a really good salad, and it's helped.
Yeah,
it's helped a lot.
I heard a lot of people, I was talking, because if you guys, sometimes I go live on my platform, and, I was talking about how diet drugs and just encouraging people just to try it if you are able to get it. And so somebody kept saying, she said, especially if you have knee problems, if you're heavy and even just have knee problems because of your weight, 20 pounds makes a difference. And you can lose that just like that.
My knees feel better.
He's not on any diet drugs. It's all natural. It's all trainer built here.
Hammer curls.
But if you would have gone on the medications, then it'd have been much faster in weight loss. But again, go get your assessment.
Yeah, I started in September and I took off a lot of weight. People are saying, "You look taller." I guess I'm standing up taller.
Right.
So it's been
knees, back. If you had, you think, "Oh, the doctor's just trying to make me lose weight." I'm telling you, again,
take that weight off.
And try it out. And
we're both been losing weight, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, she's going to the gym. I go to the gym. I still have my training gym, but we resumed going to our regular gym, working out. I'm just doing everything I can because I gotta get my mobility back. At some point, you get tired of walking with a cane. I'm not even 60.
Right.
I'm tired of walking with a cane.
Well, I always say, don't shame somebody who has a cane, because you don't know their progress.
It could be you.
Right, and you don't know their progress, and sometimes it could be a little bit embarrassing for some people to have to do it, because again, we were saying because of age or whatever. So if somebody is wearing a cane, what you doing with that cane? Get that cane. Look, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. But every step I make, I'm getting better.
Exactly, because I'm happy to say that the weight loss has been great.
Yes.
I'm feeling good. I can't eat as much as I used to. I used to be able to tear up some food. So it's all coming together. It just takes time. My shirts are feeling kind of looser. And it's amazing. My doctor.
Yes.
Even my doctor's like, okay, this is working.
Yeah. So go to Garrison House Podcast, get your referral link there.
Soon. It'll be there soon.
And that way you can get a referral. If you need to lose a couple of pounds because your knees are hurting, it'll work.
It's a good program. So just be prepared for it. So now let's get into the main show. We got some great topics today. We're we got some fun stuff at the end.
Yes.
But we're gonna go up into we're gonna go into our first topic. Has been in social media misunderstanding. People don't get it. They never people making up songs never would have gave it.
Never would have gave it.
I'm like, come on.
Marvin Sapp, if you guys didn't know, he went viral talking about tithe. No, well, not tithes, it was his offering.
Just give me a $20
and the problem was, I don't think people actually had problem about the giving as much as when he said shut the doors, and it was out of context. A lot of people will go in there and just to say it's almost like dine and dash. Now a lot of people go in there, hear the word of the Lord, go holler, hooping, holler, running up and down the aisles, running over there, something that we falling, everything gone.
And they do this.
Make them running.
When it comes time for offering, you see the spirit go out, and they walking out the door.
And what it was is it was a PA. We just found out it was a PAW convention. So if you know, it's a
Pentecostal Assemblies of the World
convention, and so that's what it was. And so when you have conventions, there is expenses that has to be met, such as you had to pay for the buildings, you have to pay for the lights, you had to pay the electricity.
And if it's in a union facility, you're paying the union.
Yeah, right.
They get paid.
Right. So he was there in order to raise the offering. Okay. And it sounds kind of weird, but that's how it is. And so again, it was a convention, just like anything. So he was there to raise the offering. So yes, should he have said something about close the door because the way society, our social media is right now and society is right now? Yeah, that might have been out of context. It was out of context. So maybe he thought, now he'll probably think twice of saying stuff like that, open mic. But again, he was just asking for $20. And if you had issues of giving $20, yeah, well, okay. But it was blown out of proportion. And just even people are always talking about giving itself when churches asking for offerings. I mean, how do you think lights stay on? How do you think, churches don't have abundant, that preacher's driving a Mercedes and preacher's driving this, his house is probably bigger than the church and blah, blah.
Who
That's
cares?
Right. But he's trying to deliver the word of the Lord and save y'all souls,
I mean,
so he shouldn't have to come out of his own pocket to keep a church going. If God called him, then the supply will be there. But if a pastor is sitting there hawking every 5 minutes about money, and having 2-hour offerings, then we might have to talk about something and looking at the pot. We need 5 more people to give $1, or whatever. But discernment.
Right.
There are legitimate pastors out there, and they are there to serve, to not serve, but to give the word of the Lord to their congregation.
They're serving God by giving the word of God. Now, going to the thing about pastors counting the thing, we know pastors who are really good pastors, and sometimes they have to count the place. So don't get that misconstrued. There are pastors we know personally that sometimes you got a certain expense, and they reach in their pockets too. So when you have the pastors looking in there, they go in there and say, "Oh man, we're short by this amount. So you know what? I'm gonna give another." And those are pastors who are actually not fleecing the congregation. They're actually counting and say, okay, we need to raise. And it may be, sometimes I've been in services where they need just $20 more. And the pastor had already gave maybe 200 or 300 of it themselves.
It's a discerning. It's just discerning as a pastor. Yes, right. It's the way they presented it.
Right.
Now, I'm not talking about those type of pastors who are really in a need and because of whatever reason they cover expenses. I'm talking about the ones who are just there trying to boost another thing because they need to go to the chicken restaurant.
They got to pay their card note.
Right. So they had to boost it up a little bit. So they need some help. Sometimes if you're a good pastor, you don't have to rah-rah the people in order to give. And people are willing, congregations are willing to give to their ministry because they love the ministry, right. And they wanted to see continue to grow and continue to do the work of the Lord. And that way more people, yes, you get more people to come in because that is the mission. That's the main thing was to draw people unto God. Discipleship.
And that's another thing. You have churches where, I'm a member. Okay, well, you're a member. So, I mean, when I grew up, I grew up in a church. So I always used to think it was tithes, offering, and dues. I'm like, what's dues? because it was still an offering, but the older generation would call it dues. Because the dues covered the expenses of the ministry, took care of it.
And that's just based on the bylaws of the church,
right?
How they handle it. I mean, because how you said they had attendance.
Yeah, they actually had
Sunday schools, attendance little thing. You know, you had attendance.
How much they raised.
So Sunday school raised $20. Okay, you know, you need to take that. You know, I mean, but they did raise money, so you know it helps. Every little bit helps. So. Marvin Sapp, yes, maybe he thought twice about the whole.
His tone was
right. It wasn't even
apostolic tone. He was in the apostle mode,
and it was dragging on. Okay, just get to the point, you know. But everybody's ready to go home. So okay, can we just give our $20 so we can go? You know, that's most of what probably people was thinking. You know,
I've been
those PAWs could go forever.
Yeah, I mean, you used to be part of that group.
I know I wasn't ever PAW.
Oh, you wasn't. Mm-mm. Oh, okay, yeah, you came.
Yeah, that came in right.
Yeah, the end of it. But so, I mean, PAW. I've worked with some of them in the past. Yeah, that glare is bothering you too. Yeah, and we'll talk about Hosanna later at the end. But yeah, I've been in situations in my almost 30 years of doing production for ministries. I've done a lot of ministries. I've sat into a lot of services.
Right.
I've seen pastors where they had a guest speaker say, "Oh, this is a fundraising service." Okay. The guest speaker come in there. There's maybe 40 people in the church service in some of these churches I've worked with in the past. And the prophet, I say air quotes, sorry about that, but I'm saying it for real, will come in and say, okay, I need you all, because I've been prophet lied to by some of these prophets. And then in one service, the guy prophesied, prophet lied, whatever you want to call it, and says, now, you need to get $300. And the pastor looked at me and went, I was like, oh, I know I wasn't going to give it anyway because he wasn't talking to me.
Right. It's like sensationalizing the word. It's not that it was lying.
Profiteering off.
Right. It's just they sensationalize the concept. They look at you, they're like, ooh, I see money. And okay, well, what else is that? You know, so they sensationalize the word and then they start adding on. Then once you started whooping and hollering, then they're like, oh, you know, in order for you to give that money that they were asking for. So that's what happens.
And so in that situation,
if somebody come to you talking about you getting money, we all need money somewhere down the line in order to help. But that's not even a word.
No, because somebody tell me to sow to them. I'm like, first, let me call my pastor. I'm like, pastor, here's what you say. Hey, prophet, hear my pastor want to hear what you say. Well, what's the prophet's name? I'd be like, I don't do that. I know people do that. Please, people, don't bug your pastor over little stuff. Have your own discernment.
Right.
I mean, that's one of the things that I have no problem saying. You don't need to ask your pastor, is that word proper? You should be mature enough to say that, don't call your pastor, don't send your pastor a text. Pastor, so-and-so just prophesied, da-da-da-da-da. If it was in the outside, if it's an event outside the ministry, just take it, say, hey, okay, I'm going to
put it on the shelf.
Put it on the shelf. And then when I see my pastor or somebody in the ministry, I'll ask, well, somebody gave me this word. Do you know where you stand on that? I get words from people all the time. I'm like, okay, I trust what comes out of the house that we're part of. And I know people who are under our pastor, they get words, I'll listen to them. But yeah, we do get that. But however, at the same time, there is a lot of profiteering. And Marvin Sapp, first of all, had money before he was a bishop, because he's actually Bishop Marvin Sapp. He went into ministry. He went into ministry. He was a gospel recording artist. And people say, I'm not going to buy his records like our pastor said. So, in my opinion, he already made the money. He's still getting spins and never would have made it. I mean, I had an opportunity to meet Marvin Sapp as a director of a national TV show back in the day. And, that was right when Never Would Have Made It came out. So yeah, whatever.
Right.
He really doesn't. It doesn't really matter what your opinion is on it. If you don't have to give, don't give. Why are you fussing about $20? You came in. We were talking about when it first came out. We went to a restaurant, a drive-through restaurant, and spent $50. That's just the two of us. And that's just two fish dinners
at a fast food.
Where we could have went to a sit-down restaurant, got us a steak, potatoes, salad, drink for $10 more. You can't even go to Burger King for $20. we would. I mean, well, we know how to go to Burger King for $20. We'll run apps and get it. I mean, however, it is what it is, and people need to just calm down. It's okay if you didn't have the $20. It's okay. Just keep it moving, and everything be all right. So our next topic is it's a hot topic. It's our hot topic. Yes, tariffs. Hope I spelled it right.
I think you did. You forgot instead of the F, you got tariffs. Tariffs.
Oh well, I just noticed.
Yeah.
But y'all get the point.
So yeah, we kind of we like to have interesting topics on Garrison House, and we like to discuss what we normally discuss in Garrison House. So okay, hold on. Sorry.
Well, I can go to my report.
And so we were so this is a hot topic, and we kind of just want you to get another look of what tariffs can be. So honey, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do mine because a lot of people don't understand tariffs. They believe tariffs are, prices are going to go up, blah, blah. Yes, prices are going to go up, but tariffs have been one way. A lot of countries.
2 hours, and I think it's a TAR. No, it's 1 hour.
Right. I got it. Yep. See, we're unplugged here. It's right there on the screen. Okay. So some goods, like I said on the screen, some goods and components cross borders multiple times before becoming a finished product, such as a car, which is U.S.-made parts assembled in Mexico and re-imported into the U.S. under the CB, basically the rules. U.S.-made products are re-imported into the country without being improved or advanced in value are duty-free. Another example, say the U.S. exports gold to India where it's used to make earrings. The final product will be subject to tariffs when re-entering the U.S. In that case, even the value of the gold would be taxed. So basically, what's happening is a lot of these tariffs are one way. So what you need to understand is that what's going on is country A, say we're the United States, so country A was when we made something here. So say we made, even though this is made in China, but say we made this poorly advertised Nat torch lighter. Say this was made in the U.S. We send it over, we export it to China. China's going to take this and assess a 39% tax on it. The main purpose, and let me pull that up. The main purpose of a tariff is, here we go. Here's the main purpose. The main purposes are taxes imposed by a government on imported goods, making them more expensive and less competitive compared to the domestic products. They're intended to raise government revenue and protect local industries, but the costs are often passed on to customers through higher prices. So essentially,
it's supposed to help local industries, but sometimes it will cost a little bit higher. But we endured inflation.
And we're still enduring inflation.
Right. And so I think to say the prices are going up, I mean, prices have been I don't know what y'all been thinking, because I'm telling you, I can show you my little car insurance bill right now, and I'm like,
don't get me started. In our age, it's like to the point we had to deal with the we'll talk about car insurance later, because our agent was like, I called him because we're trying to deal with the situation. He said, this insurance is getting on my nerves, and he's our agent.
Right.
He's driving him up the wall. So it's interesting because people are they're not. The media is doing a bad job of explaining it. The United States was not tariffing products. So an item like this, which was made in China, that could have been made in the USA, they made it there, shipped it back here. The cost of tariff was not there. They were not getting tariffed on that. So we had little or low. The tariff was so low to if another company made the same product in the United States, we may have made it. Say this product here costs $5 in the United States to make. But however, if it's made in China, shipped back over, China was able to sell it for $250. Because there's no penalty, so basically all the tariff is basically taxing that product, saying, okay, well, we want to protect our local industries. As it states here, in fact, let's bring this up. Let's bring that up again. Tariffs are taxes imposed by the government on imported goods, making them more expensive and less competitive compared to domestic products. Basically, a tariff protects us. That's why you're not hearing a lot of harumphs from the unions. A lot of the American unions are sitting back going, yeah. Recently we saw a video where Canada's, Stellantis is laying off people in Canada. Well, the problem was a lot of the Stellantis vehicles, which is Chrysler, were made there and imported here. So now it's like, well, we're going to have to start making those same vehicles that we were making there and getting some benefit. Now we're going to have to bring that manufacturing to the U.S. because it's more cost effective to have it built in America, sold to Americans.
I mean, if you even think about just giving away, just not even think about tariffs itself, we were paying other countries to do work, and here and they're sending it back here, and we're paying paying for that product. Through our own taxes, income tax, our taxes, whatever, sales tax or whoever. And so it's like, but what about our people? And so I think it's something that you have to just think about it, with just not the fact that, it's going to cost us more money, but it just helps bringing back the inventory back here.
It's bringing jobs back. So the key is, those were jobs that left this country because it was cheaper to make it there, and you were bringing it over here for little or no penalty for bringing it here.
People were, busy. Look, people were doing billionaires. I'm just gonna say it. Beats. Okay, they were going over to other countries and building their headquarters there for tax breaks.
Right.
I mean, people do stuff to find a cheaper way to do things, and so going cross country, going to another country to have their product built was just a cheaper way to do it, and so they just bring it back here and sell it for $300-$400. Beats like what $100-$200 iPhones, and so so that's what they're doing
here too because of tariffs.
You think an iPhone costs $1,500?
Foxconn has a factory that's probably like 2 hours. I think Foxconn is like 2 hours away from here. Their new factory. That's probably where the iPhones are going to be made. How? Because it's going to be less expensive now to make them here than to make them in China at the Foxconn plant there. So Foxconn has a plant here. So a lot of those things are coming back. Western Digital moved out, and they're going to have to come back to the States.
I mean, think about it. I mean, you think this iPhone costs $1,500? Do you think that when they put on a payment plan with you, and you have to pay the interest on the payment plan
for 3 years?
For 3, you
2 years.
You paying another $5 a month, plus the payments on the phone.
$20 a month.
Unless you have $1,500 out your own pocket to pay out front, and then you have to pay the whatever sales tax on the iPhone, on the phone itself. People, these companies are not going to go down because we are consumers, and we're going to still buy. Unfortunately.
Yeah, we're going to still buy products because we're a consumer nation. Mm-hmm. However, we got to get back to being a manufacturing nation. Right. Everybody says, the stock market is crashing.
We are a consumer nation.
The stock market is crashing. The stock market's been, I've been saying this amongst other people for years. The stock market has been artificially high for too long. Those are not real numbers, because what happened was, these companies were sending all the jobs overseas and making this amount of money. They were saving on costs. So of course, stock's going to artificially go up. The market's artificial. And I'm going to say this openly. This is part of the reset. People say, well, President Biden had talked about the reset, and the conservatives were complaining. However, the reset project is still in play. Every nation is bankrupt. Basically, every nation on the planet has gone bankrupt. They have no money. And so this is what everybody's like, we got to make money. China's getting ready at the same time China was hitting us. China said they were about to hit Mexico with a tariff because they were bringing stuff in. So the whole world we're in a tariff war. This is a trade war. Trade wars. We're in 2 wars that are going on. We have a cyber war going on. Many of you don't know about. I know about. And we had a trade war going on. And both wars affect you. The cyber war hurts you worse than the tariff war, the trade war. The cyber war keeps you from paying your bills. It takes down services. So we got 2 wars going on, and that is what it is. Well, I'm going to let you get to your piece you have on your
Well, this is the tariff list.
Oops. Well, it looks like you're not signed in over there.
Oh, I got signed up, I'm saying?
Yes.
Oh.
She's got to start her.
Yeah, I'm sorry. For a reason, I'm not quite sure why it got me signed out.
Yep. There we go.
And I think it told me it was signed up.
She didn't see it. Yes,
I saw it. It's just that I didn't know what that meant.
Our iPads are because we did something wrong. We didn't charge our iPad, so we're.
Which one was it again?
I don't know. I think you were on somewhere. Let's see, hold on. We're gonna get there. We did.
All right.
So here we go. Let's try this
So
again.
this is just one frame. I can't find the other ones. Are right. We were in charge, and so our pictures didn't get downloaded. However, so if you look here, let's just talk about the top two.
Bring that down just a little bit so everybody can see
sorry.
that part. There we
Okay.
go.
Let's just talk about the top two. You can see here, China. So tariffs charged into the USA was China was charging us 67%.
67%. That don't make no sense.
So they were charging a manufacturing. So if we sent raw goods to China for them to manufacture whatever we were sending them, they were charging us 67% on those raw goods. And so then once they finished it, they were sending it back here, but there was no tariff coming back to us.
Little or no.
A little no, correct. And so let's just say there wasn't any. So yes, the tariff affects the
pure profit.
Right. The tariff would affect the company that sent the raw materials. Yes, that would be true. But however, so what happens is so the USA now is charging the 30 and a half. So they're giving 34% on that tariff.
So again, like I said,
on the finished product coming back
right.
over.
Like I said, if we were so what happened is say this is $1. We sent this, we made it here, we sent it to China. China's going to charge 67 cents on that dollar. The question is it the US dollar they were charging or their currency? Because that's the question we really got to get confirmation on, because sometimes, even though the whole world works off the American dollar, it doesn't matter, American dollar or China, because as I think I said earlier, I corrected myself, it's still going to cost more. It was already expensive for them to buy it there to begin with. So, but this went from $1 to 60, this finished product, I shipped a whole ton of them. They're going to charge $1.67 for me to sell in China, and China may make the same item. So a Chinese resident will be able to buy the same. I made the same product, they made the same product. The Chinese resident is going to go ahead and buy the one made there because it's going to cost them $1.
Right. So
they're not going to buy mine because it's going to cost them a little bit more.
Just like cars, if we send American car over to China, they were charging us 67%.
67%.
But that's just the tariff itself. You're not talking about the whole
transportation,
right? What do you call those? The workers, ship workers, dock workers. Remember
the boat that hit the bridge everybody forgot about?
Well, that too.
Oh, you mean the dock workers who shut it down last year?
Right. I'm sorry.
Whoever the dock workers union, it doesn't matter. The longshoremen.
The longshoremen
shut it down.
Who thinks pay for the longshoremen? Remember the Greek guy who owns all the shipping yard? What do you think that?
That's the reason I said they pay little or no tariff because they still got to pay the longshoremen to unload the truck. So it's still so that would you see that 67 and 34? That's just the government's fees.
Onassis. He was a shipping giant.
That's not counting what the longshoremen are making at the docks.
Right.
So the dock workers are probably making up because if you add up both, that's over 100%. So one item is just going back and forth. But like I told her, I said almost every car has Chinese parts in it. Every car, you can say my car is an American car, but it's full of Chinese parts. The wires, the radio, most of the parts on all of our cars are made in China. So so the problem is we don't make nothing here. And that's the point that's going on. That's why, like I said, you're not getting the pushback. I haven't seen any pushback from any of the unions so far.
So we have, as you can see here, and then European Union is at 39%. This one guy was saying that he sells luxury furniture because he was talking about how one couch or one chair, oversized chair, he gets it delivered from Italy. And he said because of the 20% tariff, it will be coming from, instead of them having to charge $8,000.
Yeah, because
now they have to charge, right, it's on the EU. So now they have to charge $10,000. Okay, so what happened with because tariffs, first of all, if you go, I think you have to go back to World War one, two, something, and basically Europe was crashing. So what the U.S. said, okay, in order for you to build your country back, we will not tariff you products shipped here, and so on and so forth. So that's how it all started. So EU was not getting tariffed since World War, whatever that war was.
World War II.
World War II. So in order for them to build their country. So once they build their country, they were still we were still giving they were still shipping things over here for little or nothing. For nothing, right? So that's kind of how it happens. And then we can bring this down for me a second, babe. And then I was talking about, and it just happened to me. I was just thinking about it. I was thinking about the Boston Tea Party. Knowing your history, remember taxation without representation?
Mm-hmm. It's still it's on the license plate in Washington D.C.
So they were trying. They were mad because of hold on, babe. You gotta. If you had something to say here,
I'm just looking at the whole. I'm scrolling here trying to see when did the trade war start.
Yeah,
and it looks like this war has been going on for a while. But you know what? As I said, I believe as much as I don't like physical war, give me this kind of war because at least we're going to hash it out easier because it's going to affect everybody. And unfortunately, I'm trying to see.
So I'm sorry. Let me finish my taxation with. So Boston Tea Party, that's where that term came from. The taxations without representation came from the Boston Tea Party. And so what the Boston Tea Party was, colonists in Boston, okay, protested the British Tea Act by dumping 342 chests of tea. It's actual tea. It's actually tea, you know. And threw it into the harbor, an event known as the Boston Tea Party. In 1773, British Parliament passed a tea act which allowed British East India Company to sell directly to American colonies. Okay, so bypassing the merchant. So what happened was they were selling the tea to a merchant, and the merchant was selling it to the people at a higher rate. Okay, which kind of what happens. So then we say here it says colonists are already agreed by taxation without representation and the perceived unfairness of the Tea Act. So, and then that's how the Revolution War started. That's what they said. And what is taxation without representation? Okay, you can bring me back because I've been reading this. Taxation without representation refers to a situation where a government imposes taxes on a population without allowing them representation in the governing body, a principle that fueled the American Revolution and remains relevant in discussions about representation and taxation. So that's kind of like tariffs, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and then here's another problem I'm throwing really on the tariffs. This is amazing to me because you want to know why everybody's screaming and hollering. But let me help y'all out with something here. See this grid right here? That's how much is being imported from China to the United States.
So how much are we looking at in 2024?
Yeah, that's the grid.
It's 400
and that's how much we're exporting.
Billion?
Yeah, in goods. Yeah, billions of dollars. And that's what's going in China, and that's what we're putting out. The low line, that's our export. That's what we're sending to them. So it's not balanced, and you can see it's not right.
So basically, what Trump is trying to do is bring manufacturing back to the States.
Bring it back and because let me tell you something. It's a security risk. If we're not doing our part of making sure we're making stuff here, if something pop off, as we say, we don't make nothing. And I know the biggest mistake we ever made was focusing on taking away shop out of schools. That was the biggest mistake we ever did. No one knows how to pick up a hammer and a paintbrush except she does.
I don't know if it's even on here. Yes, I mean, sometimes you gotta do it. So I don't want to do it. Like I still got to paint the room back here. But go ahead.
Yeah, and so we don't have a labor base in the United States.
Well, that's
because we focused everything on STEM. So now we got to get everything. It's fine to have STEM, but we still need to have people. There are people who don't want to be in science, technology, engineering.
People don't want to go to school.
Some people just want to be a mechanic. Some people just want to build a house. Some people want to be, even though people say the whole immigration thing, not to go into that. Oh, who's going to build our houses? Well, we need to get our people back into that. So
you told us we weren't too good.
You're telling people, Americans, we're too good to build a house. No, you better learn to get a hammer, a nail, and better know how to do some basic plumbing. Because I can't get on the floor and do some basic plumbing.
I did some basic plumbing.
She did some basic plumbing. Because I can't. If I get on the floor, I'm like I said earlier, I'm getting better. However, I still can't get off the floor. If I get on the floor, I got to climb on stuff, pull myself up, just fine. However, I watched. She did the basic plumbing. You still got to learn how to do stuff, and you can't depend on other people to, who can't. It's amazing how we set up here and we complain about all this stuff, but nobody's going, well, gee, we do need people who know how to, we do need to learn to do this ourselves. And we have our neighborhood is starting to become diverse. This neighborhood, since I was born, this current 2-block range we're in, it was never this diverse. It's getting diverse now, which is a great thing. However, our neighbors next door, they build stuff. They put their own steel roof up. Then across the street, they're doing their own work because they know how to do it, but they also do it professionally. So just because you see somebody of another ethnic group, don't assume they're illegal, because my neighbors are of an ethnic group that people think, oh, well, we need them. Well, my neighbors are here. Our daughter went to school with their children. And so don't assume that everybody here of another ethnic group are here illegally. Mm-hmm. There are people here that know what they're doing, and my neighbors are examples of that. They know what they're doing.
So just a takeaway, summary all up. It might hit hard a little bit.
Yeah, it's gonna hit.
Just like inflation for the last 4 years or 2 years. Okay.
Well, yeah,
that hit hard, but we all overcame. And again, prayer and just trust God. He knows all. He sees all, and he knows he will give you wisdom and direction on how to handle the situation that we are about ready to face or currently facing. And we all survived, all these presidents in the past. We should be able to survive 4 years.
Yeah, because Trump this is his second trade war. We survived the first one. I forgot we had the same thing happen in 2018 when he initiated this in 2018. As I'm reading, he went after him in 2018. Nothing really changed, so we didn't really feel it. He went after steel and aluminum to solar panels and washing machines. So it has been.
I think we will probably discuss a little bit more next
Yeah,
show.
we'll go more into it. So let's go to the fun stuff. I got to restart my iPad's broadcast while we do the fun stuff.
Eddie Murphy's birthday. Eddie Murphy's birthday. I believe it was that yesterday or the day before yesterday? And people were hold on one second. Let me just see here. People were
talk about their favorite
Eddie Murphy movie.
I have mine. It was like
he's 64. That's it.
Yeah, he's young.
He ain't even senior citizen yet.
No, his birthday was April 3rd.
It was April
61.
Right. So it was 2 days ago, and it was Eddie Murphy and his birthday. Yeah, he's turning 64, and so people were saying, your favorite Eddie Murphy. People were posting what their favorite Eddie Murphy movie was. So, babe, what you got?
Wow, actually, it was so funny is they had mine up on my selections already on the screen there. Actually, all of them are there. Beverly Hills Cop, Coming to America, Shrek, Nutty Professor, and I did see Brewster's Millions, but Coming to America too. Norbit was okay, but the movies I've seen all of these. Shrek was really good. And
Shrek was a good cartoon one.
Yeah,
he wasn't the lead in it, but
yeah, but Coming to America, coming to the donkey, but he played that donkey.
And so So you would say which one? Would you say Beverly
In
Hills?
order, Beverly Hills Cop. I wore that VHS tape for those of us who know what a VHS tape is. I don't have one
Because
nearby.
we are the
I
original.
wore
We
it
are
out.
the original Beverly Hills Cop. We
Yeah.
watched it from the original.
I knew it. I knew every line in that movie, including the cuss words. So I watched that tape about 115 times.
That you kind of just liked what he said in a certain line.
I'm not gonna fall for the banana and tailpipe.
Yeah, that was the lead.
That's my favorite line, and just the Axel Foley.
Yeah, Coming to America. I think. Well, as I said, we were the original, so we were the original. And then after the
Saturday Night Live he was good.
Right.
Gumby.
I never saw Saturday Night Live.
He did Gumby on Saturday Night Live.
I never saw that one.
Yeah, she never saw Gumby. He did character Gumby.
And then we had Coming to America. I think I did watch Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And the interesting thing about it, sometimes when you start going into different parts, like part C, 1, 2, 3, and 4, they're all kind of you may get the first, but the second, but they all actually were really good. Except for his last one was very tamed and quiet down. Like, you remember his Netflix special he just had? Maybe I think it was a year ago. But I mean, all 1, 2, and 3 were really good. They had the original cast come back and everything. So yeah.
But you see what I see something I forgot about. 48 Hours.
Yes.
Meet Dave. I forgot about Meet Dave, and I have that movie. I don't watch Meet Dave since it's been on my server. I think I've watched it 3 times. Meet Dave was actually really good. I would put Meet Dave next to right under Coming to America. Some people say, well, it was horrible. Technically, Meet Dave was actually a family film. So if I had to categorize it under the family level, Shrek and Meet Dave and Shrek 2 for family. That's really good. And Dr. and Nutty Professor. So in the family line, those are the good.
Oh, the Golden Child.
The Golden
Child.
Child.
What year was Golden Child? I want to see something.
1986.
So you got to realize, okay, so I remember, so he was coming off of Beverly Hills Cop in 84.
Right.
Then he went to Golden Child in 86. And then there was Eddie Murphy Raw. Okay.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so at the time, I was, can you bring down, I can't remember the year.
Which one?
Eddie Murphy Raw.
1987.
87. So I was, actually, how is that possible? I was 18.
No, you were 17. You probably didn't see it until you were 18 because, you know.
We were there on the original release. So that's when the mall, I'm not going to say the name of the mall. And that's when everybody was, it was lines backed up. Everybody was everywhere. And so we as a family, it was me, my cousin Nicole, my cousin Henry, and I believe it was another person there. I can't for sure say that. And there might be other people. We all went in as a group, and so we were.
Re-release?
I don't know because I remember it.
I saw it,
I'm telling you, I think they had like 4 theaters already open, and because Henry was still underage, okay, and so I had to have my ID because I had to be because I don't know, that's kind of interesting, and so but they were letting people in anyway because he said, well, I forgot my ID, and guy was like. So he's like, yeah, okay. So they were actually letting people in. So they weren't really IDing check. And so at this theater. And so we all went and saw Eddie Murphy. I mean, it was crowded. This is when people were actually, you had to go and stand in line in order to get tickets and seats.
It sell out. Because I'm looking at his movie. I mean,
it's amazing.
I mean, we had on our server, because we have a home media server. We got 1,000 words. That was a good movie. Then now, Dolomite is My Name. That was on Netflix. If you're not ready for it, for those who are super saved, I would not recommend you watch it because it gives you an idea. I got inspiration as an independent filmmaker from it because I learned some stuff from it. I didn't like a lot of the scenes. However, I learned who Dolomite was. It was basically based on a real person. Dolomite is a real person. He was a stand-up comedian who was really bad. And he's one of the fathers of the blaxploitation film genre. Mm-hmm. And Pluto Nash, another movie I've watched that quite a few times. Mm-hmm. I need to increase my Eddie Murphy. I have a lot of Eddie Murphy movies that are family. I'm at the age I don't have. I do need to purchase all my Beverly Hills Cop and get them on the server.
It was interesting.
I have a lot of my favorite Eddie Murphy movies, ironically, are family friendly, and I enjoy a lot of his movies are really good. His late brother was really good. As his brother was a really good actor. And but yeah, I have most of these movies. I've seen Dreamgirls. I've seen most of the movies he's done.
I think because we're not on Wi-Fi, it keeps knocking us out.
Oh, we're on Wi-Fi. It's just that our streaming, our computer, our tablets, we use an app, and it takes up a lot of bandwidth, and it just shuts off because we're not plugged into our. Because again, we forgot to charge our iPads, and we're usually plugged into this little box that sends our iPads to our screens, and it's just too much data, and our internet keeps cutting it off. So, but yeah, let's see. They say, what was his most successful movie? Just like we said, Beverly Hills Cop was his most successful movie.
I was trying to see if I can get the bookmark. I bookmarked it. It's just not showing up on my iPad right now because it probably just didn't get downloaded there. He was saying that he was on Jimmy Fallon. If you want to go back and see it, you can go back and see it. He was on Jimmy Fallon, and Jimmy Fallon asked him, "What movie did you turn down?" And he said he turned down
Men in Black, I think. Was it?
No.
No.
No. He turned down the movie, but it wasn't what you thought. He turned down something, and but because he had to turn it down, he was in the middle of doing Beverly Hills Cop. So it was kind of a good thing, but it was still. But the movie he turned down was also Ghostbusters. That's what it was. He was supposed to have played of course, the black character, the one that on the Ghostbusters, and so he turned it down because he was in the middle of doing because of conflicting. So that's the reason why he couldn't do it.
Another one, he also turned down Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
He said he turned that one down because he said it didn't really make sense.
But it was a crazy good
he comes
movie.
back and does Nutty Professor and Norbit and all those other things.
And
Shrek. Well, Shrek is different because it's not live action and cartoon.
Right.
So he said he turned that down because it kind of just didn't make sense. I wish I had my phone. It's just not gonna. It just didn't.
He didn't understand how effective special effects would be, and he said, he said. He basically said that's the only one he turned down that became a big hit, and he regrets.
but still, his discography. I mean, his videography is. I mean, he should not have any regrets. I mean, The Golden Child. I mean, he's coming off of The Golden Child. He was coming off of Beverly Hills Cop. He was coming off of all these movies, and this was our 80s. This is our 80s. This is our teen years almost. So we were really enjoying him, and he was kind of the only black comedian that was out there at the time. And if you remember, Eddie Murphy and Beverly Hills Cop. That's when Chris Rock made an appearance on that one.
Yep. And then Chris Rock, yeah. I mean, you have a lot of people, and Chris Rock was he was an SNL alum as well during that time. Eddie Murphy, the SNL, people who came out Saturday Night Live made some of the best movies in the 80s. A lot of your 80s movies were Saturday Night Live comedians.
Right, and that's exactly right.
The Blues Brothers.
Coneheads.
Right. Eddie Murphy, some of his characters, only one he didn't do was the Gumby movie. So a lot of your main comedy movies, a lot of those actors came out of Saturday Night Live. So Lorne Michaels birthed that first gen was just massive. Mm-hmm. Blues Brothers, man, that was one of the greatest movies. And then just to see them all come together every once in a while, you see them cross over. Eddie brought Chris Rock in.
What's that one?
What are we doing this? Yeah, I forgot that one.
Wayne's World?
Wayne's World came out of there. That's the first and second class of Saturday Night Live. So the 80s and the early 90s, basically, most of our comedians came from one TV show. So they were box office hits because people knew them from Saturday Night Live. Mm-hmm. Most of us grew up wishing we could watch Saturday Night Live. Then we got old enough. You know, the two shows I always liked watching when I was growing up, I wanted to see was Fridays. Most people don't even remember Fridays. Fridays came on. That was the I think ABC did Fridays.
Maybe Fridays.
It was a TV. It was a sitcom called Fridays.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, Fridays.
Sure? I know it used to be TGIF.
No, it was Fridays late night.
Oh, I don't remember that one. That was over my head. I didn't do late night shows, so I couldn't. My 80s shows were the Cosby Show. Then there was different. Then they got Different World. Cosby was coming in. There was Cosby Show. Then it was ABC. Then it was Family Ties coming in after the Cosby Show, and then there was Cheers, and then it was Night Court, and then at 10 o'clock I think it was Hill Street Blues or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't remember that one.
I used to watch that show, and they had the same formula. You had the one black. Because basically he did a Jamaican guy, and he had ganja, huge things, and smoking. You know, for those who don't know, you know, he was hemp, and it was a great comedy. And so yeah, Fridays was a series that like I said, it's pre-Seinfeld, so it was really, you know, Fridays I used to get to see that. Then my mom would let me watch a little bit of Saturday Night Live. So those were the series when I got old enough. My mom, you know, it was fun watching Fridays.
It's amazing when you were watching TV back then, and when they started moving the television show to another time slot, and you're just like, why did they move it to that time slot? Now we just know because they were already tank it, so they moved it to a different time slot and just let it ride out over there until it's done.
Yeah. And somebody who does programming, I can tell you that one of the key things is watching how shows get ready to get canceled. And when you see your favorite show moving around a lot, and next thing is when you hear in the trades, oh, this show just got a syndication deal. It's like, okay, they're on their way out the door.
Right.
Because usually the network shows, they hold on to those shows forever. And speaking of network shows, let's bring up this one here. There's a new show coming on. And also for those who don't know, I also work with the Impact TV network. So this new series is starting on Impact. Yeah, I'm going to promote it. Highly Favored is coming to Impact. We saw that at the Impact Network Christmas party. And we saw the promo for it. It's going to be a good series. I'm looking very forward to seeing that. Also, Impact Network has another line called Impact Gospel that's available now. Just launched on Amazon. It's a lot going on at Impact. So, but yeah.
And just to remind you, we're still asking for reservations for indie.
I'm going to reopen it
for Hosanna the movie. We are nailing down the time, the theater. We are looking May. Okay, so we are looking at May, either around Mother's Day or somewhere around my birthday. My birthday is in May. That would be a great Mother's Day and birthday gift to me. If you enjoy Garrison House podcast. But anyway, so we are looking at May. Yes, we did want to do in April because of resurrection and all. But again, it was also during resurrection, and people needed to be home with their families during the time.
It was 2 years ago this weekend that it premiered.
See?
We premiered in the theater because it was during Ryan Rutley's birthday. Happy birthday, Ryan. His birthday just passed.
Yes.
And we actually premiered it during his birthday weekend. So it was actually 2 years ago it first went into.
Yes. So, guys, if you have not gone over there to reserve your spot, go over there and to reserve your spot, please. We appreciate it. Again, we are independent filmmakers, and so every dollar counts. And I still would do it because sometimes we have people come up to us and say, "Hey, we were interested." What's this, Facebook?
This is everybody.
Is this going to be on Facebook?
This is going to be on everybody.
No, is this? Yes. So if you look, I'll even let you go ahead and like it. You know, if you're watching this through Facebook, go ahead and hit like button that you want to watch it, or leave a comment and say, "Hey, I want to watch it." So that way, we could put you down on the list. You don't have to. It doesn't pay. You don't have to pay for anything. It's just that we just want to get a head count and how many seats do we need to reserve. And then, but of course, when you do pull the trigger on the movie itself, of course, that's going to cost for tickets. But before we close out, I want to show this to you guys. This is I am Speed. I show Speed. He is a. I think he's a Twitch. I'm not familiar with him. People probably are familiar with him. He is riding in a car, a flying car. That's what that is.
I've seen the car.
So so that's kind of interesting.
They came and drive on the.
I don't think he's driving it himself as opposed to somebody is remote control. So
can you imagine the car insurance in that?
I mean, you had to probably obey the air traffic and stuff like that. Okay.
Well, yeah, I know they promised us flying cars, but we barely have enough air traffic controllers, because on that number, air traffic controls. You have to be retired at a certain age, but she has one more here. So.
This one,
y'all need to get out now. Just everybody get out.
This one is Mariah Carey's son. He was live on Twitch, and Mariah Carey surprised his son, and that was his sister behind him. He didn't know his mom came in, so yeah, that was another Twitch. He was on Twitch live, and his mom came in on him. All right.
Wow. See, having celebrity. Even celebrity parents are parents.
Right.
They still want.
Look, we're going to stay with you. What you doing over there?
And that's one thing we know people who will be considered celebrities. Well, they are celebrities, and seeing how they interact with their children. It's interesting seeing how some of the celebrities work with their children. And also we had it last week. We had opportunity to go. We weren't live, but we went to Bishop Glenn Plummer's birthday party.
Yes, happy birthday
to him. Had a chance to see his children that we haven't seen in years. Saw his son Lemuel. Haven't seen him in a while. LeJohn, Leah, L'Oreal, Lauren. Haven't seen them in a long time, but it was great seeing them. We had a little CTN reunion, and a lot of us haven't seen each other in 20 years. A lot of former employees, our workmates, we all just had a great time.
Yes.
Just being together with each other, once again, reconnecting and seeing one of our staff members. I said, I didn't know she was the one who ran for office, but she was the person who held office here in Michigan. I didn't realize that was her at the time. So it was great. So happy birthday to everybody who had March birthdays, including our daughter who kicked off the month. And then we ended the month with Bishop Plummer. Also happy birthday to Tim Holtley. He's 71. He's the chief engineer for Impact and also works with Glenn Plummer as well. So his birthday was on Saturday, this past Saturday. So
happy birthday there, Mr. Holtley.
Yeah, so
you should have told me that because I had a little anecdote about him.
Oh,
personally.
Oh, well.
That had to deal with CTN too.
Oh, okay, yeah, because she interviewed with him first.
And they didn't hire me. But that's okay because they wanted the best.
Yes, and
I was the best at the time, but however, they wanted the other Garrison half. He came in about maybe 2 years later.
In 1996, I started with Bishop Plummer and Holtley, and I've been I hang with both them and with our pastor.
So he hired me though.
Oh, we're out of time. We'll see y'all later. Thank you for watching. I'm Darnell.
I'm Angela.
Thanks for watching Garrison House. See you later.